Okay, so yeah, sign in the chat with your email. Um, if as we're going, if you want to jump in with some questions, that is perfectly fine. I'm going to share my screen here. I have some documents. Just so you know, all these documents I can send out via email. So you have them. This is basically our agenda. First, welcome. You're here because you're interested in the BFA in studio art, and that is a good thing. And you might need to know a little bit more about it, like why the BFA. You come in and you're default in a BA, so why deal with the F between the B and the A? Like, why is that a meaningful thing to do? The BFA degree is a deeper dive into your studio practice, where the BA is a general degree. The BFA, you choose an area and you go deep into it. You take more studio courses and a few other perks, which we'll talk about in a minute. One of them is, though, a MFA-like critique. So it's the MFA is the next degree if you continue on in a studio art pursuit, and the BFA is the thing that is the closest approximation at the undergraduate level to the MFA. It's the thing that prepares you, the degree that prepares you the best. And some of the processes like critique that we do in the BFA is similar to what an MFA student would experience. Right now, there's not a lot of studios available for the BFAs just because we've grown so much in the last few years. But when the new building is finished, which might be in your time here, as it's supposed to be finished in a year and a half, there'll be a lot more spaces, and a lot of that space will be devoted specifically for BFAs to have their own space. It's the professional degree in the field. That's a word, professional, that we would hold up against like a general degree of the BA. Preferred degree for graduate school, and the BFAs participate in a senior graduating exhibition in the gallery, in the Fine Arts Gallery. I'm Neil Callender, so I also am the painting and drawing advisor for the BFA. Raina Young is printmaking and photo. Adam is sculpture, and Anthony Sonnenberg, who's not with us today, is the advisor for ceramics. So if you're particularly interested in any one of those areas, you can reach out to those people. You're going to be the first group when you apply and hopefully get accepted into the BFA that are operating under a new curriculum. And you don't even need to know that because it'll just happen for you. Maybe one thing to know is that there is some older documents out there that talk about the BFA degree in studio art, but those requirements have been changed. So you want to make sure when you're looking at the requirements that it says catalog year 21. Okay, and they're color coded. So in the BFA, there's 8 semester charts that spell out how to move through to the degree and what the different requirements are. And they're color coded: ceramics, drawing, painting, photography, printmaking, sculpture, soon to be sculpture and expanded practice. Those are the 6 concentrations. We can talk about how to apply to the BFA. So you'll be submitting an application that is primarily going to be judged on your portfolio. And your portfolio, because you're going to be in the BFA, and then it's presumed you're going to go spend a life in the field of visual arts, this portfolio is going to be the thing, your ticket to ride, your ticket to get jobs and exhibitions and scholarships and grants and residencies and so forth and so on, jobs, forever. So the portfolio is all important. And to help you with that, we do have a document called Building Your Portfolio for the BFA and Beyond. And I'll email that to you. It's a long document. I'm not going to show it to you here, but it just gives you all the little tips and pointers that you might need for a professional portfolio. There's two big things about your portfolio that you should know. The one really important thing is that you have really good images. For some of you, that might be easy to do. Some of you, it's might be challenging because you don't have the equipment, but we in the School of Art have the equipment. You need to talk to people and figure out how to get your work documented well. This is so important. It's going to be the thing that we look at. So if the images are crummy, even if the work is good, the images are crummy, it's hard to see past those crummy images. It's super important. Then the next key part is how do you curate? You don't put everything in there. Your portfolio that you show people isn't everything you did since kindergarten. It's going to be the work that is the best. It's going to be work that kind of holds together. It's that hold together part is going to increase as you make more work and you get more specialized in what you do, but needs to kind of hold together. So the document that I spoke about is going to help you with that, but also you should run it by someone you trust, like a faculty member, before you apply. Students often ask if they should apply with work from high school. You should not apply with work from high school. Your portfolio right now is going to be primarily based on assignments from your foundation classes or perhaps other college level studio art courses that you may have taken. Okay, how to apply? Not too difficult. Let's see, I got it all queued up here. You can go to the School of Art website, which I hope you've all been to before and explored and looked at the directory, all the faces of the faculty and everything. There's lots to see on here. You are part of this school, so you should dig into it. And if you go to current students applying for the BFA, you'd see there's places to apply for art education, for graphic design, for studio art. That's us. We're in the queue to be updated here. Don't let these dates confuse you. They're hanging on from last semester. I'll give you new dates, and this should update very soon. But there's two links here. One takes you to a digital application packet, which we can talk about in just a second. That you'll need to download and fill out, and then you'll be uploading it to SlideRoom. So if you click on this SlideRoom link, here are some things that are happening right now in the School of Art, and the one you're interested in is the BFA Studio Art degree application. Boop. There you are. And you say apply now, and you get in there and you fill it out. It's not complicated. It's images and that degree application and a few questions that you just need to answer. How are we doing so far? Any questions for you guys out there?
Just one from me.
Yep.
So if I am in a specific BFA area right now, and I was thinking about transferring, do I use the stuff that I'm using or that I'm making in that class right now or those classes right now? Like not from foundations, but from graphic design.
You're in graphic design and you want to switch to studio art.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's something to look at. I think you could apply with some graphic design work. You've had foundations?
Yeah.
Perhaps are you in a studio art course?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have plenty to go on. I think it's fine to put some graphic design in there, as long as it's not all graphic design.
Cool, thank you.
You always got to imagine the people on the other end, you know? Let's imagine, Jalen, you applied for your BFA in studio art, but it looked entirely like graphic design work. That would be confusing for someone on the other end, right? Whereas if you said, you know, if you had showed some graphic design work and it was clear that that wasn't, you know, your love or something, that, you know, that would make sense. Oh, this person is graphic design, but they're making the switch. That could be sort of implied in there. Yeah, good question. Any other questions? Okay, let's just briefly look at the application, which is, this is just information here that needs to get updated. This is the application. So this is your standard information here. You have to pick one of the 6 concentrations. Oopsie, that needs updating. We're not focus areas anymore, we're concentrations. You will need to dig into your UA Connect degree audit, you know, that gives you all the classes that you've taken and all the grades you've received. And you're going to just list them here, the number of hours they were and the grade you received. Because there is a minimum requirement, GPA requirement for the BFA in studio art. You need a 3.0 or better in your art courses. All your art courses, graphic design, studio art, art ed, art history, tabulate that. Art GPA, that needs to be at least a 3.0. And then your university GPA needs to be at least a 2.0. So the system will give you your university GPA, no problem. It gives it to you every time you log in there. But your art GPA, you'll need to just sort of tabulate. Presumably, that's not too hard because you haven't had too many art classes at this point. But for some people, if they're switching in or whatever, that could be a lot of courses. But we do want to list them all there. Okay, so this is simple. Just fill this out on you know, Adobe or whatever, or you can print it out and do it by hand and scan it back in. Whatever you want, we just need to see that information. Okay, moving along. And then you'll upload your images after you upload your application. And, you know, you're looking for, I think we say 15 to 20 images. A couple of tips there. If you have 15 really good ones, and then you have 5 that are, you don't feel so good about, do not feel compelled to put those 5 you don't feel so good about just to get the number 20. You will not be penalized in any way. In fact, it's better to not put bad work in there. Better to just have your best work, even if it means you're on the low end, 15 versus 20. Okay. I would recommend putting a little, there's a box for a description of each of the images in which you can just briefly explain what's going on, give us some context. Remember to think about the person on the other end. Like, we might not understand this image unless you say it's an oil painting, or unless you say it's a, you know, you could even say which project it was, you know, or the like title of the project or the gist of the project, so the person on the other end has some sense of where this work is coming from. If you do videos, I don't know, but Adam does. Tell us again, Adam, what do you recommend for videos?
Happy to tag in. So for videos and sound, it's best to submit something that is a hosting service that's designed to deal with that. So you can either upload links directly to YouTube. I would prefer Vimeo because it gives us a better representation of the color content that you have. Many of you that's been in the course, we've been over this. We've talked about this a little bit, and it's a great way just to drop that link right there. Slide room will allow it to just have a link, which is great. And then for sound, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, and you can also always just make a Vimeo link for that as well, that just has the title of the piece or the assignment, and then you can throw that up on there as well. So both of those are great options.
Sweet, thank you.
Also, as a general rule of thumb, you should keep those as shorter excerpts of your pieces. So if it's a 20, 30-minute piece, pull out, 90 seconds of it, give us an idea of what it is. 90 seconds to 2 minutes is probably about as long as you want to make. Again, thinking of the reviewers on the other side. You can always add in the notes a link to the full project so people can get more information if they would like.
Yes, thank you. It made me think of one other thing about the BFA. Maybe we should have said at the beginning, because I know students wonder. Yes, most students that apply get in. No, not all students that apply get in to the BFA. It's having that gateway that lets not everybody through means that you get through, it's a little bit more meaningful. It's a degree that is for people that are serious about their practice, their art practice. Raina, can you think of anything in terms of applying, any details or tips or things that come from like maybe the photo side of things?
I think it's just about being like well packaged, like really sort of showing us like the most professional version of how you would put your work together. And that takes time and consideration. It's not something you want to leave at the last minute for sure. But you can put your own sort of signature on things, like whether that's, putting out like certain layouts or, there's all kinds of like new ways of sort of considering your work and treating I guess you could say like if you look at like something like PowerPoint or Keynote and instead of just submitting like a single image, like if your work isn't supposed to be seen next to like something else or a bit of text or something like that, there are ways to sort of design, like use a canvas to sort of design that single entry instead of just like a JPEG, right? If that's not how we're supposed to see the work. A lot of our students are working towards, making photo books. And, so you might consider a book spread being like one piece instead of just one image in that spread. But again, we need to be able to see it like well. So just be mindful of, how it's conveying like your vision, but also it's like readable and something that we can access as well to evaluate. But there's really no right or wrong answer here other than just, make it clean, make it professional, take your time, all those things.
And seek advice, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, and always feel like you can run stuff by us. If you have questions about how to best showcase something or what's the best format for this thing to exist in, feel free to reach out.
I did think about something now. I'm looking at important dates, which we'll hit on, but when you apply to the BFA, in our program, you can apply to the BFA in studio art every semester. That is, I know, different than graphic design, and I'm not sure if art ed is doing it every semester now. But for studio art, this happens every semester. And we do require that you have completed or be like currently in a course in the area that you're claiming as your concentration. So if you are, I'm in painting, so I know that well. If you're going to apply for painting concentration, you should be in or have completed painting 1. And there are introductory courses in all the different areas. And presumably I would already kind of know you. It's sort of like an interview because I visit the painting 1 or I often teach painting 1. And presumably I would kind of know your work, and I would then expect to see it, and this would be true for everybody, in your application. Like, don't apply for painting 1 without, or don't apply for a BFA in painting and not put any of your paintings in there. And that would be true for all the areas. It's sort of like the best interview, the most thorough interview you can imagine is taking a course in that area with a professor in that area. So finally then, the important dates. The deadline this spring for the STARBFA applications is Friday, April 23rd, 11:59 p.m. Central Time. That's when the portal will close. So you have 1 month exactly from today to get this application in. You might also be interested in the STARBFA exhibition, which is graduating or almost going to graduate maybe in the summer or next fall. BFA's a big group show that will take place at the very end of the school year, April 30th to May 7th, in the Fine Arts Gallery with a reception in the morning of May 7th. So being that you're wanting to join the ranks of these people, you might want to see what happens when you get near the end, what the work looks like. So if possible, I recommend you go to that. Okay, with that, before the next crew comes in, we have like 2 minutes or something to answer any more questions that you might have about the BFA or how to apply.
Yeah, I have a question about material you use in your portfolio that you apply with. I guess, is it like, are you, I mean, in terms of like practice, to use work that's not yet completed, but taking excerpts from like that? So obviously like painting, this may not work, but like in like a film or something, to take a segment like you saw today, add on like some of the work could we like submit that as like a little chunk?
Absolutely. I mean, just if you could submit a teaser or a little trailer or something like that out of a project, a larger project that's sort of ongoing.
All right, cool, thanks.
And also, Erica, from my viewpoint, absolutely, if it's something that is hard to present, maybe presenting it via your personal website is a fantastic way to navigate us through that application. And there is a place to upload links.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, students should do that more. Actually, we haven't seen a lot of students link us to their own personal websites. Maybe they haven't quite developed them yet, but
I think we'll start to see that more and more.
Because then I love doing that. And then you have total control, or almost total control in your own space. And it's just so easy for the reviewer to zip there. Okay, anything else for the students interested in the BFA? Again, you are welcome to hang on here while we talk to the current BFAs about other stuff, BFA stuff. Or just if you're signing off, expect a follow-up email from me. I'll send you all the documents that we discussed and the links and whatnot, probably tomorrow.